Welcome, one and all, to dreadful Frights at the Backlot, Perth, presented by Perth horror fans. I'm your host, Soxy the Salacious Spectre.
We begin tonight by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging leaders.
Tonight's feature presentation is Svengali.
This 1931 American pre-code drama, which cinematic experts have argued about for decades as to whether it belongs in the horror genre or not, was directed by Archie Mayo, whose film was based on George du Maurier's 1894 novel Trilby, and was shot entirely between January 12th to February 21st of 1931 at Stage 8 of Warner Brothers' first national lot in Burbank, where, according to production notes, the script was unfinished when filming began, with screenwriter J. Grubb Alexander writing the scenes one at a time. And on February 14th, production was moved to Universal City, where Warner Brothers rented Universal's Phantom Stage, used originally in 1925's The Phantom of the Opera. Fans of The X-Files may recognize scenes from Svengali, as it was depicted on a television during Season 3, Episode 17, Punisher, and has been referenced and spoofed time and time again over the decades throughout pop culture. Even Svengali, who is an American television horror host based in the Chicago area, was named as a playful homage to the lead male role of the film. Not long after its release, the book became highly popular, and its author stated that he was surprised by the popularity of the book's villain, which soon catapulted it into being adapted onto the stage, where Sir Herbert Beerbohm Tree performed as fan favourite Svengali in the UK, while Wilton Lackey portrayed him in 1895 in the US, and at least 6 silent film adaptations were made, ranging from 1908 to 1923, and thus far there have been 2 more remakes since the making of tonight's feature presentation. The original book portrayed the character of Svengali as being a stereotypical anti-Semitic Eastern European Jewish man. But thankfully, this aspect of the character was almost immediately stripped of the character's portrayal in both the theatre and film script adaptations. The story was so popular that the courts adapted the Svengali defense, which is a legal tactic that portrays the defendant as a pawn in the scheme of a greater or more influential criminal mastermind. Originally, the role of Trilby was to be played by Evelyn Leigh. However, she soon turned down the role, which set the tabloids into a spin with all kinds of rumours. everything from stories of her just needing a break due to exhaustion to her going into treatment into a sanitarium was said about the actress. And to this day, no one knows exactly why she never took up the role. Nevertheless, Warner Brothers eventually settled on Marion Marsh, while John Barrymore, who had performed in early Du Maurier adaptations, was chosen to play Svengali, which at the time was reported as the most surprising news of the year. Barrymore became one of the first actors to wear contact lenses in a motion picture, with the use of exceedingly uncomfortable hard lenses, which added perfectly to the supernatural element of his role. When the film was released, it stirred a lot of controversy due to its nude modeling scene, which depicted a 17-year-old Marsh wearing a body stocking. However, unbeknownst to the audience at the time, in the long shot where she runs away from the room, Trilby was portrayed by a much older body double. Despite opening to large crowds and being highly covered in the media due to a photograph taken when Rear Admiral Richard E. Byrd, who had become a national hero after his successful expedition to the South Pole in 1929, visited the set, Svengali did surprisingly poor at the box office, and the question still remains, should this film be labelled a horror, or is it undeserving of the title? Now's your chance to decide.
And now, Svengali.